Good morning, everyone. This is Paula, and in the last video, we made a folio, okay? So if you didn't see that video, go watch it, then come back and watch this as part 2, decorating the folio. Now, we probably won't get it all done, but we're going to sure try. I've already inked everything and cut everything. So we're just basically going to put the base paper down, okay? Now, you can do this however you want. I left a little bit of a border around each piece. I just eyeballed most of it, okay? So, from the start, I want to welcome the new subscribers and welcome my hard die ones, you know, the ones that have stuck around with me from the beginning. I appreciate you all. And if you want to become a new subscriber, just click that button below the video, and that will get you into my little group. Now, let's get started. Now, I did cut, you know, everything. First of all, I want to show you how it turned out and everything. I do like this, the right side over, I decided, just like this, okay? So I want to open it from the right and then from the left, and then the left stuff pops up and then the right stuff pops up. And we're not gonna worry about the the writing on this. We'll just erase it if it shows anywhere, or just cover it. Okay, so I haven't inked this folio. I decided maybe we didn't want it inked, but let me look here and see what this would look like on a piece of manila folder. Okay, so this is orange. No, it's orange. It's not anywhere near orange. Ice Spruce by Ranger, which is a distressed oxide. And ooh, yeah, I do like that. It's very light, very subtle, and I think we should do that real quick. So I hope you guys are having a great day. I may ink this after it's all said and done, because that's a lot of inking to do on camera. Talk myself out of it. Okay, I can always add it later. So this is gonna be like this, and you know, I could have done it like this, but I don't know, I kept wanting it this way, which is opposite of probably of how it should be. Now, this digital is Snowy Christmas, I believe is the name of it, by Chapter 1 Papers on Etsy. It's one word, Chapter 1 Papers. And it's pastels and Christmas trees, a little bit of snowmen, little mice. See the little mouse right there? All the beautiful Christmas ornaments and trees and the snowy look. So, how I do when I want to take a digital, cut it to fit across a section, is I continue the paper. So, we're going to start right here. And we're going to do these 2 pages right here first. Now, I did print this on cardstock, and because I wanted it to be a little more brilliant. It was a better quality paper just for the front cover. So see, this will fit right here, and I'm going to glue that there. And then I'm going to take the second half, which is the left side. I did cut off part of the center so I could have this part here. Yes, it did cut off my little Merry Christmas, but as we go down the road here, I'll try to figure out how we want to make that look better. So I'm just going to turn this over. Now you can add a little bit of paper, a scalloped edge. I just cut a little scalloped edge out. Now, I can't tell you for sure how it's going to look as far as it goes because I haven't done it before. But, yeah, I wanted this like this on the front and this here, and I'm trying to decide what would look better. If I hadn't have had to cut this off to get the tree in the picture, I would have liked that better. But then we've got this we could do on this side. Now, if we do it on the left flap in the front as the, you know, the right one for the front, going right to left, and then this could be right here. But I'm going to go the other way because I just feel like that's what feels right to me. Now, since it would be the cover, you can take your little trim. Now, this is just on copy paper. And you can add this little piece of trim all the way. And I cut it too short. What a crazy lady, right? I'll have to cut a new piece. But you can do it like this all the way to the edge or let it hang off a little. But because it's just copy paper, I didn't feel like it would be, I don't know, the best thing to do by letting it stick out and hang over. So I'm going to just kind of put this right here and see how I think that would look. I probably would have to have it. So I'm going to show you how I did that. I took a punch. This punch is by Fisker. It's a scallop punch. And so what I did is I cut it off too short. So I'm going to do a longer one. Let me see if this is, yeah. I'm going to do a longer edge here on this end, and I'm not going to cut it off. I'm going to turn the punch toward me, line it up right here, okay, your paper, and push up against this ledge. Hang on to it so it doesn't move. Do the same thing over here, and then punch your first punch. And then I usually move it out one direction or another. So we'll move it to the right. And I pull it out as far as I can where I know I'm still going to catch some more scallops. Push it back, hold it down where it won't move. Now we've got this part right here. Now let's move it over here and get this side punched. This is confusing to a lot of people, myself included, when I first started using them. I don't know, it's just like, you know, it's really easy, but when you do this, it's not as easy. So I missed one, which aggravates me because it's very hard once you miss one like that to go back and fix it. Unless you get lucky like I just did. See, it did it perfect. Yeehaw. So I'm going to try to do this last little bit right here by lining up my other scallop pieces and making sure it's up against where it's supposed to be. There we go. Okay, empty all the little pieces out, trash those, and then I'm going to get my trimmer and make it 1 inch wide. You're probably thinking, okay, what do you mean? I'm going to measure from the scallops like this, bring it into 1 inch. Bring the scallops till they touch the line at the 1 inch. Don't let them go over, just touching it. And line it up straight, and then hold your paper, trim. Now, that leaves you with a big piece here to scoot under the journal page, or yeah, I'll call it a journal page. That's good enough for me. Now, you got to remember, when you put it on here, you want to make sure, for instance, I'm going to roll this over. You're going to put this piece on here. You don't go past the fold, and you kind of leave a border all the way around. Or you can pull it all the way over to add this scallop. Or you can take off part of your... But I'm just going to put it up against the outside edge. Just up there where it touches, and I know I'm in the right spot. Now, I will mark where I need this. See, once you get this on here, you want it to be from here to here. So that's what I'm about to do. Just try to get that cut and marked with a pencil, so I know it will be the same size as my image. Okay, so it's going to go like this. At least that's my goal. It's not going to be perfect. I'm not worried. Okay, and then I just marked a line there, and I need to trim it, and then I am going to do the scallops again. Okay, now we've got it right here. I would ink it up on the front part because this back side's going to be under the paper. But ink it right in here with the ice spruce. It's not going to be real super noticeable, but it's going to take that white edge off. And I don't try to get down in the nooks and crannies. I just hit the high parts and be happy with that. Okay. Now, I probably will end up gluing this to this paper. But first, I want to know that it's going to fit like I want. Okay, so here we go. Right here. Just center it. Might have to bring it over a little bit to the right. Line it up as close to the score line without interfering with the motion of the book. I'm going to put it right here, and then I'm going to see if it will even show. I might have to cut a little bit off of the paper. I just kind of like that that scalloped look. And just line up your corners to all be nice and square, or the best you can. Okay, and then I'm going to slide this under, and I don't think it's going to show that much. So we're going to trim just a little bit off. And I mean like 1/8 of an inch, probably. Something like that. Something small. Because I don't want to cut off any more of the Christmas tree than I have to. This piece was originally cut at 4 3/4 by 6 3/4 for the right flap here. All right, now this is going to look better because we can actually put it out like that and then glue it on here. But I still want the scallops to touch to the left of the line. You want to make sure you leave a border at the top and bottom if that allows. So, yeah, this is going to be cute. Cute. It's going to be cute. So I would line up and mark on here where you want this to go as far as the gluing is involved. And now I'm going to flip them both toward me and get it glued together. I marked where I want to put the paper on the image. On the other side, of course. And I think, let me go right here. I marked it right there, yeah. Kind of hold that up for a second. Yeah, we just didn't mention to our host that we're going to need to watch a lot of Christmas movies. And let's see. I know that didn't make sense. I'm thinking out loud about how this reminds me of Christmas movies. It reminds me of just a beautiful snowy day. And it's going to be beautiful when we're done. All right, so I'm going to flip it over, like I said, and put some glue here on the back on this side. Make sure you get the edges, because that's where it's going to hold the scallop or scallops on. Okay. So have you guys been watching Christmas movies? We've watched a few, but you know, normally I watch them all season, and I've only watched 2. One new one, which was not very good. I was disappointed. And then one older one. But yeah, I've been more into watching YouTube videos where people thrift and decorate their houses and stuff. And you can go and do that and watch their home tours and stuff. It's just fun. Okay, so that is how that part will look. Let's see if it will fit after we've glued it. Now we know that's our fold line, so we want to kind of get up as close to it as we can. But remember, you're going to have a border on the bottom and top and on the right hand side, because we added this border right here. We're just going to leave a space at the top and the bottom, and it will fit. So that's good. And I'm just going to glue it. Go ahead and glue the whole thing down on the front panel. And I can't remember how far back I went with this glue, but oh well, it doesn't matter. I'm going to go around the outside as my first thing. And try to do it as straight as you can. I kind of was driving like a drunk driver, wasn't I? And then I'm just going to try not to go nuts with the glue. I am going to put it up the scallop section kind of randomly. Okay. Now, let's put a little bit right here and right here. Now we're going to put it on. Okay. Okie doke. Going down here with our first piece, I'm going to hit the scallops up against the edge on the left side, and then leave a space above and below. And yeah, looks like it's going to work, guys. Okay. Have you guys got your Christmas shopping done? Oh my goodness, isn't it just a hard thing when you have grandkids and when they become teenagers to know what to get them? It makes me crazy. So this year we've been super busy with the house, moving and so forth. I got glue right here in front of me. So we decided that we would do M-O-N-E-Y. Yes, you heard me. It's never happened. I hope they're not disappointed, because they love Christmas at Grammy's and Papa's. But they're going to get some presents too. But I've been buying some old vintage things here in Branson, because they have them here. You know, they have an old vintage Christmas store where they reproduce the original toy or whatever. And it is a fun store. It's called Dick's Five and Dime in Branson, Missouri. And if you haven't had a chance to go there, it is so worth your trip. It looks and reminds me of an OTG&Y, only it's smaller. You know, because TG&Y was not a big store. My sister used to work there. Getting glue on my new pajamas. Wearing some Christmas PJs today. Just felt like it was getting close enough. Okay, now I'm going to flip this over. Now, we want to make sure that we put this one and the other one at the same height and so forth. And put a border around the whole thing. Yeah, just like that. Isn't that pretty? Oh, I love the dangling at the top. I just think it's so pretty. Now, you know, glue does ooze out, so I'm going to make sure I get whatever glue might be leaking out the sides of the paper off. I don't think I have any here, but I want to make sure. Nope, none on the front. Now we have some on the back because I stuck my finger in it. So we want to make sure to get it all cleaned up. Okay, off the table and off my hands. I already got it off my hands. So, yeah. Over here. Get all that excess glue so pages don't stick together, papers don't stick together, and so forth. This one little corner feels like it's producing ink instead of taking ink away. You know how that feels, right? Okay, so let's close it so we can see what it's going to look like. This is the front, and I am going to tell you, I think that is charming. Isn't that cute? Going to have to come up with something for these two borders, and I probably will use the same paper. I'm going to grab some, as a matter of fact. I don't know that I set any out because, you know, I figured it wasn't going to take that many papers. I'm trying to find where I laid my bag of papers. Right here. There we go. So, we're going to find this paper right here. And I do have it in... I made 2 of the tree images on cardstock. So, see, this is cardstock. But it would make a great traveler's notebook, so I'm kind of hanging on to that part. But I do have the same picture on copy paper. So I'm going to try to find that on copy paper. It does have the numbers included in this kit. Just stunning pages. I got most of them cut up and on. Trying to find the same piece. I thought I had it in paper. There it is. Ugh, has a little bit of a line on it. Well, let's see. I don't know about you, but I get so tired when the heads on my copy machine don't cooperate. It's so aggravating. At least that's how I feel. You know, you go along and you're doing great, and then all of a sudden it ruins a little bit of your papers. Now, it's not horrible, so I'm going to move on. But I want to see what I want to put there. So I'm thinking I'm going to keep this section right here for sure for that part in the front there, but I'm going to see about covering the spines. Okay, so that is 1 1/4 inch. And, oh my goodness, where do I want to put it? I think I'm going to split this down the middle right here so that it looks kind of like those two sides go together. So I'm going to show you what I mean. So we have this right here, right? That's our 1 1/4 inch. The way I'm holding it, it's not laying flat. There we go. 1 1/4 inch. So I cut right down the middle of a Christmas tree. And that's how I'm going to get my image as far as that goes. Now, cut that off. we should be like right there, or maybe we'll put this one on the other side, just like that. Trying to keep my paper up. And, we'll do it like that. We'll do it like that. So we have a 1 1/4 inch we want to keep for the spine. And I think that will work. Okay. Get that cut. And then let's get the right height on it so we know that we need it this height as far as the paper goes. I would cut it the same size and then cut the end off where it needs to get it all ready to go in. Okay, this is going to be, I'm going to ink this with the iced spruce. And I'm going to start right here. I don't like the cut edges to show on anything, and that's what I'm kind of concentrating on, is anything that might not be complete, that doesn't make noises or say anything to you, is how I want it. I think it makes a world of difference when you use those vintage Christmas decorations and the vintage ornaments and so forth. It's always fun to find those, isn't it? Okay, so here is 1 1/4. Probably should have went down a little bit, but it looks like it's going to be a snug fit on the sides. So I want to glue this the same as the height of this page. Okay, so let's get it ready to be plumping it down. All right, getting all the edges here so they don't get all folded back. Now, you want to make sure your ornaments are floating from the top. Okay, because I'm matching these pages up to each other. So I'm going to do like this. Okay, knit is going to be kind of a tight fit as far as the nickel goes. Such pretty paper. I really tried to just break at one spot, pick up at another spot with my paper, because it will look like one piece if you do that. So over here we're going to put another piece that's facing in toward this tree, hopefully. So we'll do like that. I didn't cut anything for the back, so maybe we'll just use this as the back. No, we really need it to be cardstock if we do that. So we're going to cut this right here straight down and use it on this. Let's see. Okie doke. Let me make sure that evens up with this side over here. It's close enough for sure. Charlie's growing. So every year I'm like, okay, are we going to be able to have a baby or a little one at Christmas anymore? And so it kind of is a situation where you want to make sure that they can be involved in everything and that everything goes just as planned. Now, let's see how long that was. I need to measure it with my ruler. Let's see. Let's see. I'm real fussy about these all being even. I don't like them to not even up and look good with the paper. It must be, they must be, let's see. So if I get quiet, it's because I am trying to concentrate. So let's go right here. So let's see. Let me cut this portion off. I hope I didn't just mess it up. I forgot to take the tabs off. You know what I'm talking about, like the top and the bottom. I forgot to take that off. I'm a crazy lady. There we go. Now you want the ornaments dangling from the top. And then we'll decide where to cut this off on the bottom. Sorry, I'm getting my head in there. Okay, now I'm going to have to, because I'm adding this, I'm going to have to add some ink to it. So it will go like this. I did mess up on that. What did I do? I cut it too low, for one thing. So let's try this again. Let's try it again. I think I'm going to use this big side right here. But first I need to cut off those edges, because I think that's what threw my measuring off. And that will help, you know. Okay. All right. Cut off the top. Okay, now let's see how much further we got to go. So we're going to go like this in the middle and make sure it measures. I feel like I'm concentrating here. I'm sorry for the dead silence. I feel like this one, I was going to change it, but I think I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to go right here. Where's my pencil? Where's my pencil? You lose your pencil a half a dozen times, don't you? Okay, right here. So I'm just going to cut it here and then cut it there. Just a second. Gotta find my mark. Okay. Come on, paper. Okay, now where's my other mark? There it is. Excuse me while I cut this. Okay, right here. Now that's going to look much better, even though the tree is cut on both sides. what can I say? Or, I'm still not, this is why I'm hesitating. Still not thrilled with how that looks because of the lines. I'm thinking about, let me see, this will come off. It will. It will not. Okay, let me put this back down here. Just a little bit of glue. Hold that down for a second. I probably will cover over it because I don't like the looks of the copy paper with this particular image. Now, hopefully that makes more sense to you. Okay, so we're going to cut. We're going to try cutting it again. And this time we're going to work off of whatever's next to it. Okay? So, this is that trim. Or, I'm looking here. Or we can work off of this side. Well, let me get the trim off. Let's trim around the edges. Okay, and get it all trimmed off nicely. Let's do this side. Okay, now I'm going to cut up to just under the Christmas trees because I want them to kind of all be even across each other. Okay, now, and we're going to want it to be the right size, which is, I'm going to mark it. Where'd my pen go? I don't want to screw up my only other piece of paper, so that's why I'm concentrating really carefully. Okay, now here we go. It's going to be right here, so let's get that cut. We know that we're not going to use either one of those sides. The bottom, the very bottom edge, and this top. We sure don't want to mess up on that. Okay, so I'm going to cut this edging off on the outside, and then we'll be ready to cut however we want. Okay, now let's try this again. We're going to cut 1/4 of an inch, and I really want to cover this. I really want to get it off, but I don't think that will work. I got it really close to the edges, which normally I would not do that, but I did. So what I'm thinking is about going right here, cutting a little bit off right there because it has some of that trim. I hope this isn't boring doing all the cutting, but this is, I really cut a lot of paper to get this ready, and a lot of digital embellishments. So yeah, it has been fun. All right, so 1/4, 1 1/4. And I can trim it down a little bit if I need to. I'd rather be close than not get to be there at all, right? Okay, there we go. Now, okay. So next week, my husband and I are going to go to a Christmas show. I'm going to cover this because I don't like that the picture on cardstock is not as brilliant as it is on this part. So I cut the other one taller than I cut this one. So I'm feeling like I'm having a hard time getting it to cooperate. Yeah, see, I got it too short. Dang it. Darn it. Dang it. Whoopsie. We're just going to piece it a little bit. We're just going to piece it a little bit. at the top. So let's get this inked, and then you don't want to forget to ink those white edges where you cut your paper. And go right here. Okay, now, whoops, that's upside down. That wouldn't be good. All right, so I'm looking here. I'm going to go ahead and just glue this down. And when it comes time for the top, I'll add a little piece. Listen, I have put in dummy parts that aren't, you know, as big a deal as Christmas. And I've not gotten, I usually do a pretty good job getting the right measurements, but this time not so much. I guess I need to wake up a little bit more. I've been up a couple hours. I need more caffeine. Maybe that's it. Well, I'm definitely drinking that. But first, I'm drinking my orange juice. It's yummy. Okay, right here at the top, I've decided we should find the spot that, you know, this would be on. Which really, who knows, right? So I'm just going to cut one of these bare spots, the right size. And that would be 1 1/4 wide. See if we can get it the perfect size. Let's see. Perfect. It's not really the part of this that I would like. I think instead of doing that, I'm going to take this piece that I just cut off of and make sure that it has a darker section there. Okay, so I'm going to do like this right here. Want it in here where it's closer to the same color, so we don't have to worry about that. Yeah, we haven't got to start our church service yet, so we plan on, let me get this other side. Where did it go? Right there. Okay. So we plan on trying to get to Christmas Eve service where we'd like to consider church for us permanently. Now, let's see. It's not very wide, so we're going to go like that. I'd rather cut it down than not have enough, right? Okay, here we go. Here we go. Excuse me while I find my pencil marks. They're very obvious. It's just you got to get your eyes on the part that you need. Okay. Okay. Let's see what happens. This is not as easy as it might look. Okay, we're going to put it right here. And all we have to do is fit it in. It's a perfect size. Whoops, how did that happen? And then cut it right here and glue this down. I could go back and do these off camera. So maybe... All right, here we go. Taking a chance here. Ink it up. Okay, now we want to put a very small amount of glue on the back so we don't have a lot of glue gushing out everywhere. And I'm actually just going to do it right here, since I'm covering up a boo-boo. And you want the paper to match this part as much as possible because it is critical that they match up. Okay, that side is correct, but the other side is not. Oh, I'm telling you, it's not made easy, is it? Nothing easy is nothing easy. How my mom used to say it. Nothing easy is good. I don't know how it was, but basically, the good things usually end up being the hard things. Okay. Let's see if I can get that off of here without getting my razor out and just cutting a little tiny section. Perfect. Let me make sure it is perfect, you guys. Perfect, perfect. Hopefully, that won't be that big a deal. You can tell it, but whatever, right? Okay, so now we've got that binding on that side, or that part of the book that's called the binder is covered. So now we're going to cut our 1/4 of an inch, and I'm looking here to see what we need. Okay, so we need 1 1/4. This has the cutest little stockings at the top. Look at that. It's so adorable. Yeah, I'm going to have to trim that back a little bit. So we need to start up here. I brought this down all the way. But how's that going to make this part right here look? Because it doesn't match perfect. That's aggravating. You know, just when you think, oh, I'm at the paper, it's going to be easy. Not really. So I'm going to cut a little bit off here on the side, and then I know what I'm going to do as far as that little section goes. Let me get a little bit more. There we go. Now we're going to ink it, okay? And we're going to get this back part done, hopefully. Okay, so get it all inked up here. If I do this like in a journal or something, or an album, I mean, like a photo album I make or something, I always like to make sure the obvious sections are just that. They're obvious. And yeah, there we go. Let's get that on, and then we'll cut that little piece, and then we'll cover this back side, which hopefully will be just perfect. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. So I'm excited because my son and his 3 children and his wife are coming up on probably Saturday or Saturday evening sometime, and we're excited. We haven't had them spend the night with us since the last 2 children have been born, and they're 13 and 15. So that tells you it's been over 15 years. Our oldest grandson, there was an ice storm once, and we all got together and spent a couple weeks stuck in the house because it was so bad. You couldn't go anywhere, you know. And the people that could drive well enough would be the ones to go get the food. And my niece and nephew weren't working either because they, you know, they lived up the street at that time. So they come down and would play games because it was only a few blocks. And they would play games with my 2 kids and their spouse. Well, my daughter wasn't married at that time, but and they had more fun. I made chicken and dumplings, and I did, you know, work constantly, I felt like. But it was so worth it. But they're coming up on Saturday night or Sunday night and just staying one night. But they want to take the kids, you know, like to the cave or whatever. But my husband needs help putting our television up on top of this massive fireplace. You heard me, and it's massive. Now I'm going to try to match this at the top. If I can find that little bird anywhere. There he is, so it must match, but it's not going to match up. Bummer. And that's not wide enough. Somewhere, I cut stuff bad. That's nuts. Paula, wake up. I am awake. I'm just joking. Okay, so I'm going to find a place that I feel like matches it pretty good. And we'll see what happens. This is taking lots longer than I expected because I did make that cutting boo-boo. But you know what? We'll just do another video. We'll just have something else to look forward to. And then on the 13th of December, we're going to start our 12 Days of Christmas. And that's going to be, so get a journal ready so we can do it together. I'm doing a traveler's notebook. I'm doing my Cheaply Chic traveler's notebook. And I'm using that as my journal. Because that'll be just right for 13 days. Because they're usually got 15 or so pages in them. And let's see how wide we need to do this now. Right there. I don't know how I got that so messed up. Dang. I'm sorry, guys. Trying to get my paper. My paper is tiny, so I'm trying to get it on here and get it lined up. Perfect. It's not always easy when you have a little tiny piece. It wants to scoot around when you close the trimmer down to cover it. But if you don't get it right, we just have to do it again, right? So, let's see what happens. Keep your fingers crossed. I am going to have to ink it real fast, but let's make sure it's right first. It's close enough. That's what I say, close enough. So we're going to ink around 3 sides. We don't have to ink the side that's going to be up against the other one because, I mean, you don't have to do that. Okay, let's just put a little bit of glue right here where we need to add our little strip. And then we'll do the back, and then we'll be able to move on to better things. Well, we're just going to pretty much do the same thing throughout the book because we want to cover all the spaces. So let me pull this up and hold it out where you can see. See how it's starting to match? Now we want to take this piece. The problem is I don't have a tree to match up to it. And that's aggravating. But you know what? That's okay. I'm not going to worry about it. I can cut this side. Let me see where it needs to go to be in the picture, you know. It needs to be cut. Trying to match it up so I cut it in the right spot. And I think keep going down, Paula. Okay, so I think that's going to work. We'll see. And again, we're going to have to cut a strip, you know. because nothing is going to be perfect if we don't. And I'm going to cut it right here and go over here. Cut it right there. So one side will be a little different, but it's all right. I'm going to be fine doing that. I'm thinking about if I want to make it 2 pieces back there, but then I don't know that I will really like that. I'm trying to find my pencil mark. I mean, I just measured it. Come on. Come on, Miss Paula. Okay, there it is. We're going to probably put it down in more than one piece so that it can look a little bit more matched. Do you know what I'm saying? So we're going to want this piece right here. The problem is it's not the piece that has the bottom of the tree, but I don't think that's that noticeable, because we're going to move it over and it won't be quite as noticeable. We're going to get that little mouse in there somewhere, maybe. And we're going to leave this Merry Christmas here. So let's go ahead and just, it's not going to be perfect. I've come to the conclusion that not everything's perfect. It's just a folio. But I love doing this paper piecing. It's what I call it, where you piece everything to look like it's one piece of paper. Does that make sense? And it ends up looking pretty good. This one's not bad. It's almost to the top right there. So let's ink it super fast and move on and play ball. Okay. Now, get all those white edges off. I don't like to see the cut edges because it just really makes a big difference in how it's going to go. So, and now while I have this and I haven't glued it down, I want to cut that top strip. And I'm just going to get try to find the piece that I had just a second ago. No telling, guys. No telling. That is so crazy. Where did that go? Well, we're going to have to put... I really don't want to put anything up here that doesn't match this garland, right? And I've got this. Let's see. I might have to do 2 pieces. That's what happens when you don't cut plenty of one thing that you know you're going to use on your cover. I should have done that. So you're not going to be able to tell that this is not, you know, the right part, but we're going to cut it right here. We're not going to mess around forever. I'm going to cut that in half. Give me a second. You mark it and then you back away from it and then you can't find where you marked it. That's because there's a lot of little pencil marks and stuff. So I'm going to turn it upside down right here. Make sure we get it the right size. You know what? Let's glue this part down. I need it glued down now since we know we have a paper for the other one. This is the kind of paper that you don't even have to put embellishments on if you don't want to, because it's just super pretty, you know? And if you do put embellishments, then you don't have that same beauty. But we're going to put some embellishments because I like them. Okay. All right. Got our little borders and everything. So that's looking good. Look at that. Woohoo! I like how it's turning out, guys. I hope you do too. But it's been a challenge, I'm not going to lie. I did better making the folio than covering the paper for some reason. Now, I'm going to put this right here, and I'm just going to cut off a little piece to match, or get as close to matching as we can. It's going to be right there. Okay, and then this would be, the outside will be covered. And wow, am I glad. Making sure everything's straight. Let's see what we got here. I'm going to turn it around so it'll be closer to me and so I can see it better over here. And you guys can see it better too. We did these foldovers, you know, we folded that up and down flap portion, and it ends up being, you know, kind of throws things off a little bit. Is what I was going to say. But that's all right. We're not gonna fret about it. And we're gonna put some glue right here as soon as I get that mess I made, which I don't know when I did that. A little bit of glue there is what it is. Okay, just a little bit right here. Little bit, Paula, just a little bit. I'm just gonna kind of spread it out so it doesn't become too much. Now, we're going to glue this down. Get it glued down right here even. Butt it up against the other piece. I am just a little tiny bit short, but it's staying that way. If you look here and here, you can see where it's a tiny bit short. Now, another thing we could do, if we wanted to, is put like a trim or something across that top. And if it bugs me enough by the time we're done, I will do that. You guys know me. If it doesn't look like I want it to look, I take extra. I have a tendency to stress out about things not being perfect, especially if I'm going to sell them. And I am going to put this in my Etsy shop for some lucky person. And it won't be outrageous. I'm not going to make it outrageous. Okay, there we go. I love how that turned out. Let me see how many minutes. You guys, that took us an hour. So we're over by 3 minutes. So we're going to do another video right after this, part 3, and do the inside. And hopefully that'll go better than this did. So let me fold it. We're going to be quick. Okay. Fold those down. And here we go. I know I got something sticking somewhere that's, there it is. Yeah. I like the way that turned out, guys. I hope you had fun decorating the outside of our folio. See you in the next video where we'll decorate the inside. Bye now.